Alright, so some more fun turbo thoughts on innovation. Why does innovation matter, etc. I mean, I think a simple way to think about it is so much innovation is actually based on, like, essentially it's your philosophy. What I mean by that is innovate is to create something new, and it seems like it's kind of a rich time right now to consider innovation because, like, my thought is in America, the capital markets are kind of tapped out. Like, life in America pretty much sucks for everybody, even if you're rich. And as a consequence, people are essentially living in shackles where it's kind of like a metaphor. Like, everyone's living in a Plato's cave. Like, the idea of the images behind the people and see the shadows on the walls. Everyone's living in a matrix, a metaphorical matrix, right? And, the question is, like, do you want people to wake up, or do you just kind of do your thing and let everyone else be plugged in, right? And so maybe we should rewatch The Matrix. One of the good ideas about The Matrix is, like, if from birth you've been plugged into the Matrix, right, and that's all you know, certainly if you put yourself into the light, it's going to be bright, it's going to hurt. It's like, just like Neo is like, why do my eyes hurt? And then Morpheus is like, because you've never used them before. It's like, dun, 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 right? And so I also think that the next generation, thinking about life in general and stuff, right, is that, like, the whole idea, use it or lose it, it's very apt. What it means is there are certain faculties and facilities in which if we don't practice it, we're going to atrophy. So for example, even going to space, right? One of the biggest issues that astronauts have is their bones get weaker because they're essentially not subjected to gravity no more. And gravity is our friend. It strengthens us. So if you've ever jumped into a pool and swam in the pool, you kind of know that it's like kind of nice to feel weightlessness. Right? You could do like one finger push-ups, right, in the pool, very easy. But also, for me, weightlifting, hyperlifting, 1 rep max lifting, it's all about leveraging gravity to your benefit. So what that means is it's better to subject yourself to like 10 G forces for like a split second rather than for the whole day having you do 30% more weight, right? So extremely high intensity for like a split second is superior than prolong things for a long time. So for example, stress, right? There's this notion of eustress, good stress. Eustress is in which, like, seeing a tiger jump out of a bush and you get like the heebie-jeebies for like half a second, and then you calm down, you're like, okay, it wasn't a lion, it was like something else, right? It's better than this prolonged, like, dread feeling that you have to, message your boss about something, right? And my thought about via negativa tranquility, it's all via negativa, right? Like, don't have a boss, don't have a job, don't get a paycheck. I think as long as you get a paycheck, you're still not free. And I mean, it's interesting because we all kind of knew it was coming, but at the same time, the downside is that, like, it's kind of difficult to think and consider. Oh yeah. It was kind of hard for us to consider that, like, for example, USAID. We're currently here in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and we've actually met a lot of other, parents and peoples who was funded through the USAID, and then boom, like after 20 years of being safely employed, boom, their whole livelihood is just like cut. And I think the way that reality works is it's a one-way ratchet, which means once you turn it that way, you cannot unturn it, right? And so to anybody who's like waiting and praying for, you know, Trump to leave office, I think that's kind of not the smart strategy, because, you know, the next administration, the policies will be more similar to today's policies through Trump than some sort of other left person, right? And I mean, like, think about the big ones, right? You gotta think about, like, rather than complaining about how life is, a better strategy is figuring out how to win, right? So one of the best things about being here in Phnom Penh, I see like 5 Rolls Royces a day. It's like, oh yeah, I'm in a Rolls Royce, don't care what you call it. Oh yeah. Like Pusha T said, playing peekaboo with the emblem. Oh yeah, Rolls Royce. Got the rolls. Way too rich, drive a Rove. Okay. So don't buy the lamb, buy the rolls, right? I think, yeah. So virtues of Phnom Penh. The first one is, the streets are actually like super calm. There's like practically nobody in the streets, even on the busy Monday morning, right? I think actually, contrary to popular belief, I think the weather's great. I think it's nice and warm. As a consequence, it feels good to walk around. The people are like sublimely kind and nice and friendly. And the virtues of Phnom Penh, because it's a real city, right? It's not like a tourist town, is that you have more like local industry. Okay, consider the median age, not the average age, the median age, which is actually a much more solid metric than average, right? Is 25 years old, the average person, right? And so like everybody you meet is like these like friendly university students, and like so I think actually one of the biggest issues we get in America is because the minimum, so this is my thought, this is my read. Because the minimum wage of America keeps going up higher, and these corporations like Shake Shack or whatever, they need to make their profits because they are a publicly traded corporation, right? What happens in the long term is, even though the workers get their incomes boosted from 15 an hour to 20 an hour, and once again, this is also one reaction, like you cannot magically give somebody $20 an hour and then the next day like offer them 15 an hour, they're not gonna take the job, right? And as a consequence, everything gets inflated. So for example, you know, let's say you're a kid, right? And I offered you like 10 fake tokens for 1 lollipop, right? And the kid's like, cool. 10 tokens for 1 lollipop, got it, right? And then magically one day you're like, oh, actually, no, it's gonna be like 15 tokens for 1 lollipop. And the kid's like, oh, even better, right? But then one day if you just like go back and you're like, okay, I'm gonna give 5 tokens for 1 lollipop, people are gonna be like, nope, not gonna do it, right? And so this is my toddler education for Bitcoin, right? Imagine there's only 21 million magical lollipops, right? Which will give you strength, power, and prosperity forever. And there's only ever gonna be 21 million lollipops on the planet. And assuming there's like, I don't know, 4 billion kids on the planet, right? Or let's say, you know, you think about America, LA, or whatever, right? There's 21, so assume there's 21 million kids at school, right? 21 million children exist, right? And there's only gonna be 21 million lollipops. All the kids want a lollipop. Or like, you know, whatever's, right? Certainly the value of it is going to go up, because as these schools keep giving out these fake tokens, the thing is going to get inflated. But anyways, play the long game. Think and consider how the future will be predicated on scarcity, cyber digital scarcity. The goal is to always be happy and prosper. Happy, 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 happy. All right, so some thoughts on the secrets of happiness, how to be happy. Just finished watching the Pharrell Piece by Piece movie, A++ awesome. It's probably like definitely the top, one of the top films I've watched of all time. It's actually super amazing. Okay, so the reason why I think everyone should watch it is A, I mean, it's made out of Legos, which is awesome. B, I didn't actually know that Pharrell was so awesome and great. He's like super low key, like one of the most fascinating humans of all time. And it's just like an inspirational watch to anybody who's wants inspiration. It's good for everyone. So I'll just share some random thoughts. Okay, so the first thought is I think in life the best strategy is just indulge all of your weird interests and never try to placate to the market, because the hilarious irony is the harder you try to placate to the market, the less interested they'll be. And it's kind of like by embracing what sets you apart is actually the path to success. And I don't think that success should just be measured in dollar bills, because it's like a slow death for fiat currency. I think Bitcoin is going to be the new world order ish. I mean, like, we're always going to be using US dollars, and I think the truth is people think that Bitcoin is anti-US dollars and fiat currency. I think there's actually going to be a merge, because at the end of the day, like, I mean, there's going to be a certain day where it's going to flip, but everyone's always going to be curious, like, what's the price of Bitcoin in US dollars, right? So the day it hits 21 million a coin, 55 million a coin, 100 million a coin, whatever it's going to be, we're going to be very happy. Happiness. I mean, happiness is family, right? Like, having a wife, a spouse, having kids, having multiple kids. The idea of like future life and future growth is, to me, like a simple way to gauge happiness. And I mean, obviously, like sleeping 10 to 12 hours a night, prioritizing your sleep. So lately we've been getting Seneca to bed at like 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. And, me and Cindy hit the sack around like 7 p.m. Naturally I get up around like 4:35, whatevs. And so, contrary to popular belief, I think being able to sleep like 10 to 12 hours is like the ultimate life hack. And the reason why I think a lot of people, they can't fall asleep at night is multiple. So first and foremost, if you did a line of cocaine before going to sleep at like 11 p.m. or midnight, are you gonna fall asleep? No. And any sort of media, entertainment, flashing, audio-visual stuff is gonna keep you up. And so I would say that this is where it takes discipline, where you just gotta like uninstall all the stupid social media apps from, like, to anyone who thinks there's utility in it. It's kind of like, how do you say this? I don't know anybody who ever goes on Instagram or Facebook or whatever and like, wow, I'm so grateful that I went on this and I feel so much better afterwards. Like the problem is with social media and the media, most of it, right? It puts you in a worse mood than when you consumed it, right? So like, for example, feces, right? So like, imagine if you're just like walking, right? And there's like feces on the floor. Do you pick it up and keep eating it and complaining that it doesn't make you feel good, right? No, you got to get rid of the feces. So social media apps on your phone, everything, it's like digital social media feces. It's not good. And other solutions to get your 10, 12 hours sleep, join the gym, get your one rep max weightlifting in, try to walk your 50,000 steps a day. Like, I don't know any man who walks 50,000 steps a day who is not supremely happy. And also, living in the right place does make a big difference. So I'm currently here in Phnom Penh, and thus far, It's my closest thing to paradise. It's like a walking paradise, the nicest people of all time. And the culture of being, my culture is amazing. Like, it's like very tranquil, it's very subtle, it's very calming. And certainly, you know, money, finance, economics are important, but it's not like the prime objective of people. It's more about social interactions and also the good thing about being in Phnom Penh, there's really not that many tourists or foreigners here. So fewer weird, degenerate expats. Stay in BKK1 near the Royal Palace, whatever is, right? You'll see like 10 Rolls Royces a day. It's kind of fun. See a bunch of Lambos. And so as a consequence, there's this Beverly Hills Beverly Hills Polo Club. I mean, the guy has the matte blue Rolls Royce, so it looks like this guy is doing something right. And yeah, I think the secret of happiness is obviously health. Like, if you were a trillionaire but you only slept 30 minutes a day, and you're a cripple and you're just high on cocaine and heroin all day, are you gonna be happy? No. Even if you could bet all the beautiful women on the planet, if you can't even get it up, it's not gonna be worth it, right? And so I think happiness is less about like hedonistic pleasure. It's more about like a sense of calm, tranquility, stability, foundation, you know, sleep, physiological exercise. And the opposite of happiness, which is probably stress or something, it manifests in people's face, their comportment, the way they carry themselves. And I think actually 99% of the issue, it's not a virtue thing. It's like people live in the wrong environment. So for example, if you grew up your whole life in a rat cage, you know, certainly you're not gonna thrive as if, you know, you had a kid, you know, like okay, if you take a gorilla or a monkey and you put them in like, you know, the Jungle Book environment, they will thrive. If you put a monkey and keep it in a cage for its whole life and just have it, you know, auto scroll through YouTube, it's probably not gonna thrive. And so humans, people forget, right? Like, we're like animals, right? We're like biological beings. We need to be outside. We look at trees, interact with people, touch people and stuff like that. And so happiness in life, it's interacting with people, it's social, it's smiling. It's a simple way that you could become happier too is via negative. Like, the more technology you subtract from your life, the better. Even with like Seneca, like the great thing about being here, he's like in this like super hippie school where it's just like all wooden trees and toys, and he's just like singing songs all day. And so like he hasn't even used an iPad in like 3 months. And I mean, certainly the change has to start within ourselves. Like, you know, typically kids who are on YouTubies all day, their parents are probably like binge watching stuff behind the scenes too. And so yeah, like you know, if you want to change your kids or whatever, right, it's often a reflection of yourself. So, you know, change yourself before you change the planet. And I think also like I think we're also kind of like entering this new generation of creativity, in which creativity is going to be the most powerful fuel for the future. Now that we got generative AI, right? AI is like a quadrillion times more productive than I am, and often more creative and more interesting. Yeah, there becomes this autotelic nature where I just like writing. Like, to me, it's a joy in itself. And it's kind of like meta thinking, it's kind of like meta living, it's like breathing, right? Taking photos, right? And so, yeah, I think at the end of the day, happiness is just being able to do what you love, kind of continue innovating, not taking life too seriously, and always being happy and sabai.